Title: The Weeping Forest. Echoes of despair. The fog swirled like a shroud around their ankles, thick and cold, stealing the light from a sun already surrendering to twilight. Marco and Sofia, two tourists eager for authentic experiences, ventured into the weeping forest, ignoring the warnings of the old forest ranger. "Don't go there," he had told them, his eyes clouded by an ancestral fear. "That forest feeds on pain. It never returns what it takes." Marco, the more skeptical of the two, had laughed. "Bah, old wives' tales. We want to see the forest, right, Sofia?" Sofia, although with a prickle of unease in her stomach, nodded. The promise of a unique landscape, shrouded in perpetual mist and with trees twisted like skeletal hands, was too tempting to resist. As they delved deeper into the forest, the silence became denser, more oppressive. The birds, normally boisterous at dusk, had fallen silent. Only the sound of their boots crunching on the damp leaf litter broke the stillness. But, little by little, a new sound began to seep into their ears, a dull groan, a lament that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Do you hear that?" Sofia asked, her voice trembling. Marco frowned. "It's the wind, surely. Blowing through the branches." But it wasn't the wind. The lament intensified, becoming more defined, more human. It was a chorus of mournful voices, a constant whisper of pain and despair. "Help us. To escape." The phrase, spoken in a ghostly echo, resonated deep within their bones. Marco tried to maintain his composure. It must be some strange echo. The way the trees are. Suddenly, a gust of icy wind swept through the forest, lifting the fog just enough to reveal a pale, almost transparent figure, floating among the trees. It was a woman, dressed in rags, her face disfigured by suffering. Her eyes, sunken and empty, seemed to look through them, into an abyss of eternal torment. Sofia screamed and clung to Marco's arm. The figure vanished as quickly as it had appeared, but the lament intensified, filling the forest with a cacophony of moans and pleas. "We have to get out of here," Marco exclaimed, his skepticism shattered. They tried to retrace their steps, but the forest seemed to have changed. The trees, once arranged in a recognizable order, now stood like an impenetrable barrier, blocking their path. The fog thickened even further, enveloping them in an asphyxiating darkness. They were lost. For hours, they wandered aimlessly, listening to the laments, glimpsing spectral figures dancing in the periphery of their vision. Every step they took seemed to sink them deeper into despair. The forest fed on their fear, growing stronger with every scream, with every tear. In a moment of lucidity, Sofia stopped. "Marco, wait. I think I understand. We can't fight this. We have to. We have to feel it." Marco looked at her, confused. "Feel it? Are you crazy?" "No. Think. The forest feeds on pain. If we avoid it, it consumes us. But if we accept it, if we feel its pain, maybe it will let us go." Hesitantly, Marco nodded. They closed their eyes and allowed themselves to feel the sadness, the anguish, the despair that emanated from the forest. They felt the pain of the trapped souls, their longing for freedom, their terror of eternity. It was an overwhelming, almost unbearable experience. They felt as if their own souls were being absorbed by the darkness. But, little by little, the intensity of the lament began to diminish. The spectral figures became less frequent, less threatening. When they finally opened their eyes, the fog had dissipated slightly. A clear path, previously hidden, stretched before them. It was the way back. They ran, without looking back, until they emerged from the forest. They fell to their knees at the edge of the road, gasping, trembling, but alive. They were never the same again. The weeping forest had stolen more than just their innocence. It had shown them the true nature of horror, the existence of a suffering that transcended human understanding. But the worst was yet to come. Weeks later, Marco began to have vivid dreams, to hear the laments in his head, even when he was awake. He saw the spectral figures in the corners of his house, stalking him, calling him. One night, Sofia found him in the garden, standing in front of a tree, his eyes empty, repeating over and over again, "Help us. To escape." She tried to stop him, but he pushed her away with surprising force. He walked into the tree, disappearing into its trunk as if it were a door to another dimension. Sofia screamed, horrified. She ran to the tree, determined to rescue him, but when she touched it, she felt a surge of dark energy that paralyzed her. She saw her own reflection in the bark, but it was not her face that stared back. It was the face of one of the tormented souls of the weeping forest, trapped forever in a cycle of suffering and despair. And then, she understood the truth. The forest not only fed on the pain of those who entered. It also turned them into part of it. Marco and she had not escaped the weeping forest. The weeping forest had escaped with them. And now, she too was part of its eternal lament.